Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee with Convery. Today, we're in for a real treat as I sit down to chat with Brandon Duan, a rising star in the world of full stack development. Brandon's journey is as fascinating as it's inspiring. With a degree in management and information technology from the University of Toronto, he's already making waves in the tech industry. From his current role as an API specialist at Points to his impactful internships at tech giants like Nokia, Brandon's career trajectory is one you don't want to miss. In this episode, we'll dive into Brandon's experience as a full stack developer, his innovative approach to problem solving, including how he increased server efficiency by 50% with a custom garbage collector, the challenges and triumphs of managing major framework upgrades and ensuring website stability, his current role at Points, and Brandon's unique perspective on the intersection of management and technology. Brandon, welcome to the Coffee with Convery podcast. It's great to have you.
It's great to meet you as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on this today and really excited to get into your background and share your thoughts and insights with our listeners. But let's start with some few rapid fire questions. So what do you think is your superpower?
I would say my superpower is pretty much my positivity in facing whatever situation.
Awesome. Perfect superpower to have. Um, this one is a fun one I always like to ask people is, do you have a favorite smell?
uh, I think I'm pretty much into like the smell of nature, of
Mm,
grass, especially when I'm at the camp fields because I pretty much enjoy like camping a lot. So yeah,
okay.
this is a
Like
smell
the
I
smell of
enjoy.
nature, the fresh
Yeah.
grass. Yeah, no, there's nothing like that. Um, If you had to think about what was the best compliment you've ever received?
Oh, it's definitely like people whenever it's at the end of a project, people are saying like it's really great working with you. Oh, I enjoy the time like working with you on this project. This is something that I just truly enjoy because I always feel like it's an honor to work with a bunch of talented engineers and stuff on projects. So yeah, this is the compliments that
Awesome.
I think is the best for me.
Awesome. Good collaborator.
Definitely.
Um, okay, I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure or a go-to snack, but we all have something we always love to snack on. What's your favorite snack?
Oh, yeah, my favorite snack is basically like a bunch of fruits and nuts and mixed with like seeds. There's a recent favorite for me that is called like laid back.
What's
Yeah,
that?
it's pretty much something that provided by my company. So I just pretty much would grab a lot when I go to the office.
Ah, Laid Back, is it a brand of
Yeah,
something?
it's a brand. I think it's a brand and it's just like mixed nuts and stuff.
Okay, okay. Nice, nice. Thinking about favorite subjects, what was your favorite subject in school?
Oh, it's definitely like CSC 369, which is about like operating system. I just learned a lot of interesting stuff in that subject. So yeah, it's definitely my favorite course and subject.
Nice, nice. Um, we all start somewhere and we all start with our very first job. And just thinking about your first job, what was your very first job that you remember starting?
So if we're talking about like co-op positions, it's definitely like the financial analyst I
Okay.
had when I was at points.com.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about my first ever like full-time
Hmm.
position, it's still like position at points.com, which is like a developer API specialist. That is
Okay.
what I'm currently doing right now.
Awesome. Awesome. If you had to pick just one word to describe yourself, what word comes to mind?
It's definitely tech savvy. I'm
Tech
just pretty
savvy.
much doing everything, trying to integrate like technology with everything I do. So yeah, this is where I would describe myself.
That's awesome. I'm glad it's tech savvy because as we were getting started, right now there's a lot happening in the economy, a lot of things happening. So I want to jump into your experiences so that you can share with your peers, with those in the next generation coming up, and maybe even for new job seekers, maybe some new insights and ideas to think about how they go about that
Sure, for
job
sure.
search. So as someone who's successfully transitioned into from management and IT background into the developer role, what motivated you to pursue this career as a developer?
Well, it all comes down to like when I was in my second year in U of T, I actually accidentally took in selective course, which is like CSCA 20. It's
Okay.
basically about like basic stuff related to Python, computer, computer science and stuff like that. But at
Mm-hmm.
that time, I enjoyed that a lot, and I just felt like, hey, then why don't I just simply take some more computer science courses? And then because at that time I was actually like working at Points,
Mm-hmm.
and Points is a tech company, so we had like hackathons. At the time I was there, so I actually took part in the hackathon with a bunch of co-op students, and we
Okay.
ended up making like a website for like the new co-op students onboarding.
Oh,
And I
nice.
enjoy like the project super much, so I just realized, hey, why don't I just maybe switch to like um to the technology like specialist, which is management and information technology. And so yeah, that's why I just basically switched to this stream. And then later I just took more courses related to like data structures, algorithms, and application development.
Hmm.
And I just become more and more attached to like computer science and technology and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say definitely University of Toronto's computer science or management information technology is definitely like the thing that motivate me the most in pursuing my current career path. Yeah, so I'm super grateful for all of my experiences.
Awesome. That's great. So, you know, maybe can you like walk us through as the audience too, like from being a student to landing your first developer position, what did that look like and what were some of the challenges you faced?
Well, I would say that it's definitely super challenging. Um, Let me just first walk through my journey a little bit. So
Yeah, go
first of all,
ahead.
I started by like taking more courses, like I mentioned, like the um, the basic computer stuffs to like more advanced, like operating system, distributed system, networks and stuff. And then I just started doing all of the projects, no matter it's within the courses or it's just my own ambitious little projects. And then I just pretty much look for job positions, especially like on site at that time because I didn't really have too much industrial like experiences.
Okay.
So I ended up being like a research assistant for one of our professors in psychology, and the position was related to like software engineering. So I was super lucky to have this kind of industry experiences on campus. And then I just began like seeking for like co-op jobs, and I was super lucky to nail like a position at Nokia, which was about like a full stack web developer.
Mhm.
And then after being like a full stack web developer at Nokia for 2 semesters, I basically just graduated from U of T and started like seeking for full-time jobs. And I was still like lucky enough to be hired by Points.com, which is the company that I enjoyed working like 3 years ago, and become a developer there. So yeah, this is pretty much the journey for me. And in terms of challenges that I
Yeah.
had, I would definitely say the job seeking for the full-time job is like the most challenging part for me.
Mhm.
I would say this in like maybe two aspects. The first
Sure.
aspect, like the interviews, and previously they don't really ask a lot about like system designs. They only ask you about like what you learn from school and things related to like lead code and stuff. So a lot of things related to data structure, system design stuff. But now they ask you a lot about like system designs. So yeah, you can't just really only stick to like lead code. You have to always ask question about like the how apps work, how the systems work, and that's pretty much super challenging for undergrad graduate, I would say. And the second part is that the job market is super depressed.
Mm.
There are not too many positions, especially for like entry level positions. So actually, at the time, it's really hard for you to stay positive. But I try my best to maybe to manage the things that I can't really take control of, which is basically stay to my daily routine and do as much of projects as I can,
Hmm.
and try to learn like new tech stacks, and I'll always like do legal question as well. and I just had faith in myself and reach out to others. And finally, I just pretty much nailed a job position.
Good for you. And you know, we were talking a little bit before getting started about how the job market is right now and for entry levels, and especially in tech, it's a challenging market. But I think, your idea of like sticking to a routine, trying to pick up new ideas and new things is really helpful. And you mentioned talking to other people. So like networking and getting out and meeting people, has that been helpful?
Yeah, that's super helpful. Actually, I'm just talking about like networking and reaching out to people who are already in the industry.
Yeah.
So I actually did a lot of like networking with a bunch of senior software developers, and also reach out to my previous colleagues and my previous mentors and seeking for advice and stuff. And yeah, at the time, just realized that they just gave me a lot of like courage and
Good.
confidence continue with like job seeking because a lot of my um a lot of my classmates they just basically went to pursuing for like a master degree or stuff. So I was actually um thinking about this as well. I was just thinking, hey, is it like the good path for me to take, or if it's or if I should just simply like pursue for like a master's degree and stuff. But thanks to all like the tips and advices I
Hmm.
got from my mentors, I just tried to stick with this path and ended up in a good shape, I would say.
Good. Good for you. What advice would you give to a student who, is listening to this podcast that might be feeling a little discouraged right now? What advice would you give them with the job search?
Oh, I would definitely say like connecting with others is like the most important thing you need to do because you're it's super okay for you to feel like depressed and stuff because the job market is super bad. It's not only you that can't find like a I would say like desired position. People are just always struggling like in this situation. So always like reach out to others and try to seek for help. If you have like interviews, then good for you. You are already like the top students. So you all you need to do is to continue with what you're doing and try. And one day luck will come to you and you will nail it. But if you don't really have interviews, I think it's about time for you to reach out to really somebody like senior developers, some hiring managers, and try to seek for their ideas. Is there anything that you can do to help to complete your resume,
Hmm.
or there are certain projects that you need to do to make yourself more competitive? Um, I'm actually thinking that the writing of resume is also super important. So always reach out to those like hiring managers or HRs, and try to include whatever the keywords that you did, and
Right.
always tailored to the job descriptions. And yeah, sometimes people have like incredible like experiences, but they don't really put like the good the appropriate keywords onto the resume and ended up getting just wiped out by the AI stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a pity. So always reach out to the HR or to some senior like developers for help. I would say that is super important for a person who is trying to find an ideal job in such a depressed job market, I would
Yeah.
say.
Absolutely. No, it's some great advice and insights. I think, people don't always think about leveraging talking to people that are already in the role or senior, maybe two steps ahead of you, and understanding how could I be more appealing or what do I need to do to get noticed, right? So I think
Uh,
that's some
I
great
just
feedback.
I just realized that sometimes computer science students or management IT students may be too obsessed with technologies.
Hmm.
Sometimes I may have the same problem as well. So if I get started on my own like ambitious project, for example, sometimes I would just simply like sink into the project completely and forget about everything. I like do the project for like 10 hours a day and completely forgetting about like submitting the resume or even revising it. Well, this is something that is definitely a no. We should like avoid doing so. At least at the time that we're still seeking for the job, we
Right.
need to like do the correct things, right? So yeah, definitely don't ever try to freak out or to hide yourself from like seeking. Just always try to be confident or reaching out to people and yeah, believe in yourself.
I love that. Believe in yourself. I think that's huge. And I think to your idea too about your time management, make sure you have time to, because finding a job is a job, right? And so, you know, don't dig so deep into something that you forget to lift your head up, right? I have a question for you. So I was telling you the audience on this podcast is really all across the young generation, but there's a lot of people listening as well as career seekers. But thinking about someone like yourself, if you were to rewind a little bit and how you found tech, what advice would you have for students who are just starting to build their technical skills and trying to figure out what they should do to start to build maybe this as a career?
Well, I would say like the best resource for like an undergraduate student is definitely like school. Like if you take like these computer science courses at school, they're super helpful. Like you can learn algorithm, like data structures, and a lot of key concepts from school, including like the operating systems, distributed system, computer networks, and databases. The four most key concepts
Okay.
um, within the computer science the whole field. You can learn all of these concepts from school, and also there are loads of opportunity that you can get to work on like the large software projects, and these are super valuable for the hiring managers when you're trying to seek for a job. So always try to you know do whatever you can to try to really understand the concept that you learn from universities and college and stuff, and they can help you a lot in preparing for the interviews and also for the resumes. And the second thing is maybe the students can practice a lot of like lead code questions. Although I just
Hmm.
mentioned that nowadays they don't only the companies don't really only ask like lead code questions, they also ask like system design questions. But doing lead code questions can still help you like understand the technologies and algorithm data structures, and you really learn. And after you do like 100 medium questions, you'll see your progress, and you will see like everything has changed of the way that you look at the codes or coding. So yeah, I would say lead code is definitely a good resource as well. And the third thing is related to like system design. I would say always be curious about like how the big apps work. For
Hmm.
example, you can ask question related, hey, how Twitter works. How does Twitter work? How does it like organize all the tweets like by timeline and then push them to specific user groups? How do you achieve that? And once you begin like asking questions related to this kind of questions, you are into like the field of system design, and trust me, you'll do good in the interviews.
Awesome. Some great insights and advice there. I know this is really near and dear to your heart because I know as we were talking and have been talking,
Oh, definitely.
part of why you want to do this podcast is you see yourself as a developer friend, right? You want to help those students. And thank you for doing this podcast because just being here and sharing your story and your insights is helpful. Um,
You're welcome.
what's the most important piece of advice you'd like to share with some of these aspiring developers?
Uh, I would say just try try to really understand the concepts and try to always believe in yourself, because sometimes I just feel like those talented developers or students, they can't really find an ideal job. It's not because that their tech your tech stack sucks or whatever. It's just simply because that the companies don't have like enough job openings for you. And
Hmm.
sometimes whenever there's a new job opening, they will be fulfilled like with the inside of a company. So there aren't really that much of positions in the job market, I would say. But always like still, as what I said, believe in yourself and try to do the correct thing, the appropriate thing, and try to work on your resume, work on your projects, work on your tech stacks, and reach out to people to see what are the problems at, and you'll be good.
Good, good to hear. I have one other quick question I wanted to ask you, just from your experience, because you've done different things. Is there any, I guess maybe it could be at Nokia, it could be at points, but any particular projects or specific projects you're proud of or you found rewarding and challenging? And what did you learn from those projects?
As we're talking about this, the most challenging projects that I have ever worked on is definitely like the internal forum project when I worked on it as Nokia at Nokia.
Okay.
So I actually developed an app for an internal forum in Django
Ah,
at time.
okay.
So from scratch, from like designing to like maintaining the whole app, it's all like done by myself, and I'm super grateful for all of my colleagues and my managers, my mentors. They don't really have a lot of micromanagement for me. Because I actually worked like two co-op terms at Nokia. So at the very end of the first term, I said, "Hey, maybe I'll just try to do something really big the next term." As hey, why don't you just do that? And at the beginning of this term, they said to me, hey, this is the project you wanted to do, so just do it. So yeah, I'm super grateful for the opportunity. So basically, I have to um do the whole project by creating the app within Django and reading all of the other developers' documentations and try to invoke like the right APIs and stuff. And yes, it's like a long progress that took me about like 2 3 months to do that. And I would say the thing that I realized was that coding isn't really about like typing and coding. It's actually about like cooperating with other engineers, because when you're
Hmm.
like constructing your own app, you have to like invoke others API. You have to use others functions, right? So at the time, you really need to know how do you want to, use your own appropriate a way to integrate your own app with the large system. And also, if you have some problems, you have to communicate efficiently with the bunch of engineers, right? So I just realized that my management skills um, kicking in when I was doing that, because I just realized, hey, I have so many confidence, and I can speak up for myself using what I learned from like maybe the presentation courses I
Yeah.
had in my management courses. And yeah, I just ended up realizing, wow, actually project management and software development aren't that separated with each other. They're pretty much like doing similar things, but
Yeah.
project management is more focusing on the managing side, whereas the developing is more on the developing side. But hey, we're still like working on the same project. We have to cooperate with others, right?
Same
So yeah,
goals, right? Same goals in mind.
exactly. So
Yeah.
this is the thing that this is the challenge that I had, and I learned a lot from the experience. I'm super grateful, and yeah, I just feel like this whole experience kind of shaped the way I look at like software engineering.
That's amazing. So your work integrated learning, getting the opportunity to work in co-op, very created situations and opportunities for you to learn new things. Um,
Definitely.
right? That's awesome. And that's another thing I think when students are looking at, should I get a integrated learning opportunity? Should I look at co-op? Should I try to get a job while I'm going to school? I guess from your perspective, the answer would be yes.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid yes. Because right now, I just realized that people are more focusing on super high GPAs and focusing on those theoretical things. But I just noticed that the industry, they don't really care that much about your GPAs and stuff. They care about like work experiences. So here comes one of the advices I want to share with a
Sure.
bunch of like undergraduate students. So always try to nail a position at school. So whichever is like no matter it's like a work study position or it's a research assistant position, just try to work with a bunch of engineers. We could work with a bunch of people who are already in the industry and gather a lot of industrial experiences, and that will work a lot in interviews and in getting hired in the future. And also, I think that co-op is like the best way for a student to gather like the experience in working on really large industrial projects. So I would suggest that people always like take a look at the co-op projects, because co-op programs, because it's really a great way for you to learn to try to be like professional developer.
Yeah. No, this is so, first of all, this is so great because it's real talk from you, giving the advice and insights, and I know you want to share that. So maybe you might even get some people reaching out on LinkedIn and ask you a couple more questions. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. If you have any questions, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm free to talk.
Okay, I appreciate that because I think that you have, I know that you have great insights and advice on what you've experienced and sharing that back to the community and to young students and others who are looking at this. And I thank you for your positivity about staying focused and, you know, the things you can control and not control. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with the listeners before we think of closing off today? I know we covered a lot of ground, but anything else that you wanted to say?
Well, I just wanted to let the tech students know that it's not their fault to feel like frustrated. It's completely okay to feel so in such a current like job market, because you're not the only one who have like such feelings. So yeah, always try to stay connected with people in the industry, try to talk. And well, some people are just simply like stuck into their own some small rooms. They forgot about like getting some sunshines. They forgot to like walk around, and always try to just going outdoors and touch the grass, you
Yeah.
know, enjoy nature, and you'll feel better. Definitely better.
Good
Say.
advice, Brandon. Good advice. Like, keep in check, right? Like this stuff,
Definitely.
this will all come. Well, I want to thank you again. It's been a pleasure having you on. It's been a pleasure having your positive energy, some of great ideas and thoughts that young people can think about too here in the tech space. And I thank you so much for being a part of this podcast.
Thank you so much for the wonderful conversation.
You're welcome. So, for our listeners, if you liked what you heard today, please share this podcast with your network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a rating, follow us on Instagram. And don't forget, this is Coffee with Convery, where it isn't always about climbing that corporate ladder. Sometimes it's about building your own jungle gym. Have fun with it, enjoy life, right? And go from there. So thanks again to Brandon. Thanks to you for all listening today, and look forward to catching up soon.